Everyone wants to be wealthy. Everyone. But here's the secret that 95% of people will ignore. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with it. And today I want to share with you guys 3 things that you must absolutely do if you want to be wealthy. Now, the first thing that you need to understand is that becoming wealthy is not a destination. It's a journey. It is something that is an ongoing process. Once you start this journey, there is no end to it. The reason why is because if you look at any of the richest people in the world right now, they're still working. You know, we think that once someone becomes a billionaire, they sit on their couch, they kick back, and all they do is count their money. No, that's not the case. They are still hustling. They are still going hard. So if you want to become wealthy, you can't see it as a destination. You have to see it as a journey. Until you die, you need to keep adding to your wealth. And if you are willing to do that, then follow these 3 steps. No. 1. Stop buying into the lifestyle inflation trap. When you get paid more, you want to spend more. This is something that happens with most people. So let me ask you a question. All right, let's say you get a pay raise at your job. You know what most people do? They go out and buy something nice with that extra money. They go out and buy new clothes. They go out and buy a new car. They go out and buy a bigger house. Why? Because they got a pay raise. They feel like, hey, I deserve it. Well, guess what? You don't deserve it. You do undeserve it. Because just because you got a pay raise doesn't mean that you should go out and buy more stuff. That's not the case. Instead, what you should do is you should take that extra money and invest it so that it works for you, so that every single month you are building up your net worth. That's what you should do instead of buying into lifestyle inflation. Here's the reality. If you are buying into lifestyle inflation, you'll never be wealthy. And let me explain to you why. Here's the math. If you earn $50,000 a year, let's just assume that you save 10% of your income. That means you're saving $5,000 a year. But if you get a raise and you go from making $50,000 a year to $60,000 a year, let's say that you don't increase your savings rate, what's going to happen? You're only going to save $6,000 that year? You went from saving $5,000 a year to saving $6,000 a year. What does that show? That shows that you are saving more money than you were before, but it also shows that you are spending more money than you were before. So when you get a raise, if you spend more money, what you're really doing is you re-giving away your ability to build wealth, because let's face it, where do you think the money is going to come from that allows you to build wealth? It's not going to come from your paycheck. Where do you think it's going to come from? It's going to come from the money that you save. So if you want to be wealthy, stop buying into lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise, save more money, invest it, and use it to build up your net worth. Don't just spend more money. Number 2, invest early and invest often. As soon as possible, you need to start investing your money. And I cannot emphasize this enough. If you haven't started investing yet, even if you've only saved $1, you need to invest that dollar as soon as possible. Why? Because time in the market beats timing the market. There are studies that show that if you miss the top 5 best trading days over the last 20 years, your return drops by over 40%. If you miss the top 10 best trading days over the last 20 years, your return drops by over 50%. And guess what? Most people who try to time the market actually underperform the market itself. So the best thing to do is just to invest your money as soon as possible. Don't wait. Just invest it. Buy low, buy high, and then hold on for dear life. And third, protect your wealth. Many people, they focus on making money, but they don't focus on protecting their money. And guess what? Making money is easy. Protecting your money is hard. In fact, it's harder than making money. Now, I am not saying that you shouldn't make money or that you shouldn't pursue wealth. Of course you should. You should absolutely pursue wealth. But you also need to realize that it is extremely important that you protect your money. You know, if you make $1 million, congratulations. But if you lose $800,000 of it, well, guess what? You didn't really make any money. But it is very important that you learn how to protect your money. So what do I mean when I say protect your money? Well, there are many different ways to protect your money. One of the ways is to not carry any debt. Debt is expensive. It eats away at your cash flow. It destroys your financial life. You know, if you live paycheck to paycheck, chances are you are carrying some type of debt. It could be credit card debt, it could be student loan debt, it could be car debt, Whatever it is, debt is expensive, and it eats away at your cash flow. But one way to protect your money is to not carry any debt. Another way to protect your money is to have an emergency fund. It's always great when you make money because you can invest it, you can do all these different things with it. But what happens when you make money and then you have a huge unexpected expense? For example, your car breaks down and you have to pay $3,000 to fix it. What are you going to do in a situation like that? Well, if you have an emergency fund, you can easily take care of that situation. But if you don't have an emergency fund and something like that happens, you are screwed. You will have to resort to taking on debt. You'll have to resort to putting it on your credit card. So it's very important that you have an emergency fund. And in case you don't know, an emergency fund is simply a certain amount of money that you set aside that you never touch unless it's an emergency. Another way to protect your money is to have proper insurance coverage. I know this might sound boring, but it is extremely important that you have proper insurance coverage. If you don't have car insurance and you get in an accident, guess what? You're screwed. You're going to have to pay out of pocket. It's the same thing with home insurance. It's the same thing with health insurance. Doesn't matter what it is. Make sure you have the proper insurance coverage because it will save you in the long run. I promise you that. And lastly, another way to protect your money is to invest in yourself. A lot of people, they will spend thousands of dollars on things like a new TV or a new car or a new whatever, but they won't invest in themselves. They won't invest in their education. They won't invest in their skills. They won't invest in their mindset. It's very important that you invest in yourself, because if you invest in yourself, you become a better version of yourself. You can do more with your life. You can make more money. You can help more people. So it's very important that you invest in yourself. These are just a few ways to protect your money. There are obviously a lot more. But you need to realize that when you are pursuing wealth, it's not just about making money. It's also about protecting your money. Otherwise, you will never be wealthy. Now, I challenge you to comment below. Tell me what you're doing right now to pursue wealth. Remember, 95% of people will ignore this wealth tip. Don't be one of them. Go out there and crush it. Take care.